just landed in Leadership and Enlightenment, a podcast where the guests are exceptional humans that have faced their fears to crest into their best selves, growing into a way they can help their communities, creating opportunities, and sharing their secrets and their tips that they learned along the way. Without further ado, here we are, my friends. Have a great time today and enjoy Leadership and Enlightenment.
At that point.
When was the restaurant in Phoenix? When did you start playing at that one?
That was late 90s into 2000. I just started playing guitar at a restaurant, became a one-man band, jumped into some bands, but really started making a small living at one-man bands in the corner of a restaurant, background music. And then that was a thrill for a while, but then that got very, very stale as I would just play the same cover songs over and over again.
Yeah.
Jimmy Buffett, Brown Eyed Girl 1,000 times.
How did that feel after a while? I mean, it's kind of like me when the banquet industry used to hear Donna Summer's Last Dance song at the end of every wedding. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not hosting any more weddings in my life.
Weddings. That was my next shift. I went from that to a wedding DJ because that led me down the path of enlightenment of all this music I'd never heard before. And I got to make a living at learning everyone else's music, just all this beautiful music that I never was aware of. And I did a deep dive into thousands and thousands of new songs. And so that really broadened my horizons and did that for about a decade.
Scott, I mean, you're a Michael Bublé high-end performer. I mean, you definitely are in a place right now where you're bringing magic to that gala experience or that high-end experience. But when you were a kid, when did you know you actually could sing? Like when you could actually do this?
Right away. Second grade, we did a performance for the high school during an intermission of their musical. And they said, Scott, I've heard you singing at the recess. You want to give Michael Jackson a try as a kid and do Rockin' Robin? I said, of course. Did it with ease. And I just thought about it. I'm like, wow, that was not hard at all. I should probably pursue this in my life a little more. So it came right away.
Oh, wow. Interesting. And that's so cool that you actually fell into that at a young age. I'm interested in the idea of how the podcast is put together, this leadership enlightenment, that there's a little piece of us that somehow comes out along the way and it starts to bring some additional support to it. When you have that spirit within you that you're like, hey, this is something I can do. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. But when you can start at a young age and know, I wasn't like that. As a child, I had like no idea what the heck I was going to do with my life. And it felt like I was completely out of my norm. But you had this ability to see that this was a path that you could follow. What do you think it gave you in strength outside of your talent that you saw life?
I think it just it helped me become more of a leader because when the biggest people I lead are my band members. And I have band members all over the world. I didn't know that starting out the Bublé career thing. I thought I was just going to have a 21-piece band and we'll just travel the world together. Well, the budget doesn't lean on that sometimes. So I had to pick up band members everywhere I went. And everywhere I go, it's my job is to give them a piece of my energy, give them respect and show them that it's a team effort. And to do that, I pump them up unexhaustedly. I just continually give them so much energy that if they're dragging, they won't be dragging by the time I get done with them because we're going to have such a good time together. That way, the people who are listening to the music will also have a good time. So my job is to motivate and give a piece of my energy to the band so that they can feel that I'm not better than them or bigger than them. We're all in this together.
That is the work, isn't it? That's the leadership in it. I got this privilege to see a high performing artist in Cancun one time perform for an audience that didn't stereotypically match in the way that I viewed it. But by the end of the event, they were literally floating. And I could tell that there was something that had happened and it wasn't physical. There was some kind of an enlightening process where that light had shined through that performer and that audience could feel it. They took something back from that. And I realized that day, like every human has this ability within them if they can find their flow, like what they fit into. They could really express themselves in this way and they could bring people up. And it must just be, I mean, like on a daily for you, a way that you're connecting, realizing like you're bringing this value to your audience. What does that feel like? What's that experience behind that?
It's a buffet of madness, I call it, because every single audience is slightly or greatly different in so many ways. The venue, is it indoors? Is it outdoors? What country are we in? What are the customs? What are the local customs? What are they wearing? Are they black tie or are they chill? What's the room size? What's the theme? You just fill in the blanks. What's the acoustics in this room? What type of event is it? What part of the event is it? So every single event that I do is slightly or greatly different. And that gives us a challenge, but also an opportunity to custom craft whatever the energy is and make it work for that. So
Yeah.
my job is to read the crowd. Now, thankfully, my decade as being a wedding DJ for that long got me the ability to read crowds.
Right.
That's the best part of being a wedding DJ is knowing how to read crowds and turn on a dime. And
Yeah.
that brought me into the corporate world where now I'm learning, or I learned a long time ago that energy is always moving and you have to know where it's going, where it was, and where it's going to, and where you fit in that whole cycle.
Fascinating, fascinating. Talk more about that. I mean, how do you interpret that energy? Because I literally understand exactly what you're saying. There's a little part of letting go and a little part of holding on. And in my public speaking world, there's times where time stops for me and I can witness the idea of what's happening in front of me and I can make adjustments with my audience because I can see like this just isn't hitting it and I can flow into that. It's scary for some people at first when they realize when that thing pops and you're there, like what that means. But you obviously understand what I'm saying. How do you work in that?
But the best thing is to practice over and over again is to know how to deal with what energy is presenting itself to you. So mid song, you can change on a dime. Sometimes I'm a little too expressive for the room. They're not having it. I do a lot of corporate dinner music. So that's a weird tightrope you got to walk. They're there sometimes to connect and network and say hi to people they haven't seen it in a year, which is awesome. They're catching up. So you have to respect that if that's the vibe that they're putting out. So we as a band and me as a lead singer, we pull back a little bit and we let them do that. But every once in a while, I'll catch a CEO or someone from a C-suite walk in front of everybody, look at us, start lip syncing, start singing along with the song that we're doing.
Mm,
Now it's time to
yeah,
ramp it up. Now it's me and this person are
see
going to
it.
do a little bit of a duet. Not really, but it looks that
Yeah,
way. And we feed into that energy right away. So we can ramp up and make the focus about them. When it's not about them, we bring the focus back to the band, where it's me and the band just kind of having our vibe up there and they're having their vibe out there. So it's a mixture of reading the crowd and knowing when to pull back, when to push forward, when to change the song set list on a dime also. If you need a little energy and Fly Me to the Moon is next, you cancel it and you put something a little more energetic in there like Mac
yeah.
the Knife or whatever that be. So it's constantly fluidly changing.
And you're so aware because you're able to take in consideration the importance of the event. And you're a cog in the wheel, which I love because that's literally the light shining through you and knowing its place to be in. And you said something earlier when we were talking. You said that, your life's about music, creativity, and fun. So far, that's come through, all of this conversation. I'm a little envious, I have to say. I didn't find my kind of click in life until the last, say, 5 or 6 years. I had, a really fun time learning and growing in the corporate world, but I wasn't growing within my own scape. I was part of a bigger picture, I'd say, that wasn't allowing me to express myself. And when I got back into this place where I could express myself, even this podcast for the fun of it, passion project, and give new friendships a chance to just have conversations like this, started to realize like, what is it that like kind of sets that stage as you go? For me, it was accepting that I could be more, that I could do more than what I was doing, and that the job I had kind of a ceiling to it. And I wanted to be more expressive in life and allow life to express through me. You took that role from the very get go. There wasn't even a toggle there, but you had to have some times in there where it started getting tough for you and you were struggling through it. What did you do to get through those times?
Oh, you mean like last week?
Yeah, was it last week? Sorry, dude. Don't want to hit the pain button on you there. Yeah.
No, they don't go away. They just lessen. So creativity, music, and fun are my core, but fun doesn't happen unless fires are put out ahead of time. And that's what I learned early in this corporate life that I live. I do public shows too, and I love them. They're just a little more challenging, and I like to do them now and then. I'll
Mm.
sprinkle a few public shows in throughout a year. But the corporate game is like this. You need to get so far ahead of the fires that can happen And so you just list them, and you never get them all sometimes. Sometimes, at the event, things happen that you just can't possibly plan for. But the more you plan for, the more your odds are that no fires are gonna happen and you're gonna have fun. So when
Yeah.
you're in that space where the sound check was perfect, the event planner is on point, and everything is going on schedule, everyone's having a great time, that's gonna be 1 hour where I'm gonna give the audience all of me because they don't have any distractions from coming from me. They don't have me putting out fires in my head as I'm singing, which I've done multiple times. Don't like it. It's part of the job. But the goal is to put as many fires out as possible so that when that first note hits, fun can happen. And when fun does happen, it spills out over into the group.
And you can feel that because you're in your flow at that point. Like, you know, like you basically around you, you're the cog in the wheel. It's just time to do your job, and the rest of the world universe will work around that. That's your insight, man. That's the leadership. And that's what I'll really draw out here. You know, what you just mentioned sounds like what every event planner in the world says before they start a conference. You know, that this is the contingencies that need to be discussed to get to this place where they can actually operate in show mode and make those special touches that they can make that will really, you know, bring life to the conference at that point. And it's never about us. It's really about realizing that we have this place to be in this lane. And if we can just allow ourselves to stay in that moment and be the best we can be at that moment, that music, that energy shines through us. And I think that in the events industry, you know, it all overlaps in a lot of different ways, but we all find that we're kind of on the spectrum together. We all enjoy these special qualities of ourselves, and we really celebrate those in the events industry. And we see it in the idea of planning and taking responsibility for this event, for humans to actually walk away with something from that event. And I think that's what's really, you know, I'm aspiring in this conversation, talking to you, to realize, like, what's behind the scenes when you're in that moment. You're controlling this room, regardless of what the food and beverage is doing in the back, which was always my thing. And I always thought it was the most important. It wasn't necessarily, you know, the core elements of the room, but you're bringing the vibration. You're bringing that running thread that everybody can kind of hold on to and take away with them in the end of the evening. What do you think? What do you think kind of stands out in your mind as a part of what you do that most people aren't even aware of, outside of what you've already discussed, obviously, which is just amazing? But that touch that you feel inside that is special to you.
I think that when people see me on stage, they think, "Oh, he's getting lucky. Yeah, he's having a good time. He probably just woke up an hour ago, and now he's taking the mic and having some fun up there." And part of that's true, but what they don't see is the days and weeks and months of pre-planning, which why I feel so comfortable in the events space is because I can relate to a planner. I can relate to everyone in events. Like you said, we're all just a cog in this wheel. We're a part of the pie. We're just a slice of it. I'm no more important than the luxury chandelier or the food and beverage. Everyone has their moment and their belonging in that event. They fit in that space, and we all come together to make the planner look like a hero. Because at the end of the day, that person is the lead, the point, and all things go through that person. So I do my section of planning with my band, with what we're going to do, the sound check, what we need on stage, what the event is. Give me the flavor. Give me so much information. You can't give me too much information about an event because I'm going to process it all and try to customize it the best I can so that I'm aware of who's out there, what their demographic is, what their needs are, everything possible. I can't stress enough to a planner. Give me the most information you can because we're in this together. And I think
Yeah.
that's what guests don't realize is that I'm a mini planner in a micro planning event.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to admit that. I mean, I've learned today from you. I didn't consider that. And I've been in this business for 30 years. I'm embarrassed to say that today you've taught me that those layers behind the entertainment are just as intricate in the way that they lay out than anything else that we're doing in that event itself. And I love to say, like, we practice every day for when the opportunities arise. You obviously do that in your daily efforts and the way you put things together. It's impressive. Before I tune out with you though, I'd love to understand, like, what do you like to do as a hobby for fun? Anything that you do outside of the musical industry that would you want to share?
Yeah. So I grew up in a sports family. So Me and my wife Tracy, we designate Sunday. If I'm not working, if she's not working, we just watch football the entire day from
I
the
love
10
that.
o'clock game, the 1:30 game, and then the night game. And if we can throw in a Monday football, we'll do it too. So we do love that. We used to be able to play sand volleyball together. Both of our knees don't agree with us anymore, and shoulders and everything else that comes from sand volleyball from years of
Yeah.
doing that.
How long you
So
been married?
sports, let's see. So it's 2005.
Congratulations, brother. That's a great 20 years. My wife and I have been
Yeah.
married for 36, and it's funny when you get into that kind of time frame how the relationship has changed from when we first met to a friendship, and how we do things together that, really just kind of later on friends. We recently renovated like a tiny home that we put outside in our ranch. And I swear we walked away from it feeling like we were both construction, like, savants. But like we couldn't believe that our carpentership was that good. And she
Nice.
had the things she focused on, things I focus on. And it's such a departure from what we do on this daily, and this idea of playing and the way that we have fun. And I think it's really a part of the overall picture when you look at, how you are investing yourself in your daily life with your career, when you're also investing yourself with your family in the same way. And that those things really do balance throughout that whole conversation of being that leader as you are. I mean, Scott, I've learned so much from to you today about being a leader in an artistic way. You're obviously, an artist in what you do every day. You take what you do in that seriousness. Share with the audience some of your upcoming events that you're going to come into and how to get in touch with you. We'll obviously put in the show notes how they can reach you. I know everybody's going to want to use you as their entertainment going forward after they see this.
ScottKeo.com covers everything. That's my booking site, my main website. I'm on LinkedIn a lot. In fact, I do a little thing called a Monday Spotlight, where I take an event planner and I put a little Sinatra, Bublé type song to all the stuff about that planner and celebrate how cool they are. And I give them a little Monday a little Monday gift, and I give them a video and I post it on LinkedIn. So that's been a lot of fun right now,
I
is kind
love
of
that.
giving back to the community and
Yeah.
putting the spotlight on people who never get the spotlight.
I love that. And I see LinkedIn that way. That's how you and I met. We met through LinkedIn. And funny how the worlds work. I mean, I'm the speed limit now at 55, and that wasn't necessarily how we were communicating 10 years ago. And to see it come together where you and I could create this friendship and then support the community around it in the same effort, it really is just about being part of giving back to the collective, as far as I'm concerned. When we have our passions aligned with our lives, it turns out in a way where we just feel every day that you're fulfilled and you're in your right place.
Speaking of giving back to everybody, this guy, Dean, is all about that. Just knowing the fact that you voluntarily just connect people in the events industry with other people with no intention of getting anything back from that whatsoever is quite an example. So I've learned a lot from the way that you hold yourself
Oh,
in a spirit of just giving, and it always comes back to you in other ways, anyways.
it really does. And that's the fun part, is the exciting part. You don't know, but you're in this place where you get to ride the ride. So, Scott, I look forward to sharing more with the audience as we go. I know you and I'll connect again into the first quarter next year and talk about some of the great stuff you did over the holidays. But if everybody sees this video and is looking for the perfect fit, I know you're the one. Have a great
I
afternoon, my
appreciate
friend.
I appreciate that. It was great connecting today. It was a good podcast. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. Well, there we go. Another amazing example of the universe working in its magnificent way today. Appreciate you showing up and look forward to seeing you again at Leadership and Enlightenment.